Hi guys, so remember a couple weeks ago I made a video about how Doctor Who seemed to be improving, and I was hoping that the quality would stick. Well, I suppose that couldn't last forever. Sorry, that sounds harsh. As usual, this is my subjective opinion, and if you liked this episode, well, good for you. We are all entitled to our opinions, but this one was not really for me. I think it had a couple of good ideas. It was kind of interesting to see the Doctor end up somewhere other than England. Although I will say it was the first time watching the show that I had to turn on the subtitles to understand the accents. But whatever, that's not really a complaint. I guess it makes sense, Shooty having he has an African background to bring him to Africa. I guess that kind of makes sense. Although I did think it was kind of funny that he mentioned that, oh, this is the first time I've had a black body, and Joe Martin cameos in this same episode. But then again, he doesn't really remember being Joe Martin, so it doesn't really count for him, but still, I just thought it was kind of funny. The idea of a story about stories sounds like it could be compelling on paper, but I don't think the execution really worked. It ended up just mainly being a bunch of people standing around talking. I don't want to sound too harsh about that, because as I understand it, the writer, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, does come from a playwriting background, and this is apparently his first TV script. So when you say that, it's understandable, because it really did feel like a play. And I have seen worse in that regard. I'd say the Whittaker era had worse standing around talking than this did. As far as the story goes, though, I don't know if you guys ever listened to the Doctor Who Show podcast, Rob and Dave. It's a very good podcast. They do hot take reviews every week. I listened to their podcast, and one of them, I can't remember which one it was, mentioned that it reminded him of Ghostlight. And I kind of agree with that in that I came away from it not fully understanding what was going on. It was very complicated. It felt a little messy, at least to me. Too much was not really explained. Like, we were supposed to just accept that these stories feed the gods, and which I don't always have to have Doctor Who explain things perfectly. Like, the TARDIS is bigger on the inside than the outside. That doesn't make any sense. The Doctor regenerates. That doesn't really make any sense. But at least there's some kind of explanation. Like with the TARDIS, it's like he says it's dimensionally transcendental. Doesn't really make sense, but at least we have a line to explain it a little. Here, there was just like, oh yeah, the stories feed the gods. That's it. And I didn't really understand it. Like, so this guy, this barber guy, he was human, and then he created the gods from stories, but the gods kidnapped him to make him tell the stories. So who made him tell the stories in the first place? I didn't understand it at all. And are these gods the same as the Pantheon? Or are these different from the Pantheon? Is Anansi part of the Pantheon? And what is with all this god stuff anyway? For a show like Doctor Who that's always been like science, 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 it doesn't delve into the supernatural a lot, and all of a sudden we're just doing gods, gods, gods? Now, I don't mean that science and the supernatural can't coexist. I'm a Christian. I believe it is much more scientific and much more logical to believe in a God than to not. I think it's very unreasonable to not believe in God. If you want to know why, you can always ask me in the comments. Or send me a message, I don't care. But RTD strikes me as very atheistic. So why he's interested in these gods all of a sudden it just seems strange for Doctor Who. And I'm kind of getting tired of it happening so often. It's like, kind of like, get a new story? And another thing I'm getting tired of. RTD, we get it. You don't like internet trolls. You don't like the internet. Do you really have to have your writers shoehorn this stuff in every week? I mean, it could have been the writer, but I have a feeling it was RTD. Calling the World Wide Web the most horrible things humans have created or something like that. I mean, yeah, there's a dark side to the internet, but it's not all bad. There's good stuff on the internet, too. I just feel like if you were immersing yourself in the wrong side of the internet, then that's kind of your own fault, RTD. Block those things. Don't go there. Ignore them and look at the good stuff. Look at the funny memes on Facebook. That's what I do. I don't know. It just seems like RTD just wants to complain. Sounds like a lot of the season is the old man, get off my lawn. You young kids are dumb. I hate the internet sort of thing. But I don't know. Whatever. Like I say, 4 out of 10 for me. Did not really enjoy it so much, but maybe I just didn't understand it. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. Maybe one of you guys can actually explain to me what's going on. Hopefully next week will be better. It's that song contest one. Kind of looking forward to that, actually. That sounds like a fun concept. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next week. Hopefully I like that one better. Bye.